So now we're finally going to wrap that glass in a piece of copper tape. And I like to do this on a light colored piece of paper. And once I pull that paper backing off, you'll see why. So I've got a piece of copper tape that is about 5.5 inches long. And my glass is just a little over 1.25 inches tall by 1 inch wide. For this process, since no heat is involved at this point, it doesn't matter whether you use these or any kind of little clip like this, as long as it's pretty tight. So it's going to hold it all together while you wrap it. Okay, so we're going to put this here, being careful to especially not, doesn't really matter if you get fingerprints on the exterior because you can clean those off, but be careful to keep the fingerprints off of the interior. Mainly you're just going to keep it clipped. Make sure it's all lined up the way you want, because once you get this wrapped in copper tape, it's not going anywhere. I try to use as little adhesive as possible, because usually I'm putting two images back to back to each other, but I feel like every time you use any kind of adhesive after all this work, I don't want the adhesive to heat up and seep through the image, and then I've got like a mess encased in glass. Okay, so I'm going to peel this apart here. And what I like to do is take that end and put my little clip on it. I just want to peel it off. I don't want to touch it and get my fingers on that sticky part, so I like to use these little wooden coffee stirrers. Okay, you can see it's already sticking to stuff, so it's stuck to the paper, which is fine with me. And now you can see why I like to have it on a white background. I want to make sure that I have my glass centered on this line, so that I don't have a big thick frame on one side and a skinny little frame on the other side. So I don't want to touch this adhesive, but I do want to, I can lift it up and move it. So you're just going to position it, lift it up and reposition it until you feel like you've got it really centered good. Okay? Now at this point, I think I will take my clip off because it's in place. And then I'm just going to line it up on there. Make a sandwich. I'm just rolling it onto, I'm just rolling it on there, and I'm making sure that it's all nice and centered on the frame. This one is a little bit, I'm going to lift it off and look down the middle. You can kind of look from above or right down the center. Make sure that you like the way it's centered. And then I just turn it. Okay, now I'm going to do it on this side. At this point I have 3 sides. So what I'm going to do is I push it down in the center parts. Don't mess with the corners yet. Push it down on the center, on the face. Push this down right around here. Push this down. Leave your corners up. This is how I do it. Now, okay, people may do it a different way. This is how I do it. It's like wrapping a package, really. So now I've got 3 sides, and I'm going to decide which is going to be under and which is going to be over, and then I'm just going to fold that little edge like you're making a bed or wrapping a package. Same here. I'm going to tuck that under, and then fold this part over. For right now, I'm not burnishing yet. I'm just lining up where I want things to stick. And you can even use like a toothpick, or you don't want anything too sharp that's gonna, if it's too sharp, you don't want to start making cuts in your copper, because you don't want your flux and stuff to leak in. So there, we got that. It looks like one of those little Andes mints is what this reminds me of for some reason. You don't have to really fully burnish. You want to get everything lined up before you start burnishing. It's better. Look how pretty. Ooh, that came out pretty. Okay, so now I guess I'll do the little edge first. So I'm just going to line that up. Make sure I like the way it's lined up. A pair of tweezers might be handy. You just don't want to get your hands have all kinds of oils and stuff, and you want to retain as much of the stickiness as you can on the back of this. If you have nails, that helps. If you have a good pointy pair of tweezers. So then let's get this pushed down here. I want as few bumps as possible. Now I'm being careful to burnish because I'm going to overlap a little bit. So I want this nice and smooth before I overlap. Okay, so I don't need this much. You can see it's going to overlap, and you want it to overlap a little, but I would say 1/4 inch or so. no more than that, or else you're going to see the seam. So now I want it to line up. I hope this is focusing. So I'm going to kind of watch it head on. Make sure I have it nice and lined up. See if you can see that. I got a little bit of black on that side, a little bit of black on that side. Okay, I'm happy with that. And you can kind of, if you press your finger there, you can kind of see what it's going to look like from the top. And once you're happy with it, and then fold the edges over. Okay. Okay, I think this video is going to come out good. I'm really excited because I realized I never showed a very good close-up. I showed a good close-up of it in my first video on this topic, and then I made the mistake of I thought it was boring, so I made it fast forward, and I added music to it because I thought my voice was awful and boring. And then later on I realized that people wished I had left it slowed down and explained what I was doing. And I think I still lost a bunch of data on my laptop or something because I can't find the original video file so I can redo it and slow it down. So I had to reshoot. Okay, so now I'm burnishing. This is burnishing. When you're happy, you're not going to peel it up or reposition anything. Then you're going to burnish. Don't burnish and think you're going to peel it up because you probably have to start over again once you've burnished. So now I'm just kind of taking, you can take a bone folder, so you can burnish with this. This is like a little plastic thing just for this kind of thing. It's used in card making. I think Martha Stewart sells them. For all I know, Martha Stewart invented them. It's the first time I ever heard of them. No, I'm sure they've been around before that. And I'm sure they used to be made of bone. Okay, so here we are. It's all nice and smooth, super smooth. All that little corner. Okay, and don't fret over it too much. I mean, the flux evaporates, everything evaporates. I've never ever had liquid seep into any of I've made probably 100 of these. And I've never ever had flux, and I use liquid flux, rubbing alcohol or cleaner. Never had anything seep in between the glass and ruin my image. So, you want to do a good job, but don't worry about it too much. As long as you don't submerge it in any water or take a shower with it on, I think you're going to be just fine. So I hope that's helpful. And I guess I will make another close-up video of me soldering this because I think maybe the more close-up examples you see, the better. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I keep skimming over this topic, and I knew I need to show you a good example of how to do this. Okay, thank you for watching, and hey, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Just do it already. I have a ton of videos in the works with lots of great ideas and discoveries, and you don't want to miss any of those, so click that subscribe button.